What is up, Cupcakes? It's your boy Paperback Dan. I'm back here with Connor. We're going to go over what we pulled this week. Um, Make sure to join our Facebook group, follow us on Twitter and Instagram. We're also on Spotify now, so be sure to hit us up on all of those. And yeah, let's dive right into this. Connor, tell me what you got this Wednesday.
Hi everyone. So this week it was actually quite a light week for me, but this might shock. But I have like maybe a surprising bottom pick of the week because I've actually managed to read all my books, so I will be. I've got a reason why, but Venom 5 was my bottom pick of the week.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah,
I
indeed.
mean, I know that we had talked and you said that Venom kind of like started to take a turn after issue one.
Yeah,
But to see it be your bottom, that is
yeah.
very
This
much
was
a
all
surprise.
this was Al Ewing issue as well.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. So I didn't like it mainly because one, I felt Brian Hitch so far has done okay. Like I've not minded his art, but he started getting into the way in which I don't like, and he gets really confusing. Like it's not confusing, but he just overstuffs everything, and the colors don't differentiate everything enough. So it's a bit like, but like yeah, I will clarify that Ram V is writing the Dylan Brock stuff, and Al Ewing is writing the Eddie Brock stuff. And I've said recently that the Ram V stuff, I don't know if it's Ram V struggling to like make it compelling, or if Dylan Brock just isn't as interesting a kid to read. But the Dylan Brock stuff, I was starting to get bored of. Like it just wasn't hooking me. But the Eddie Brock stuff kind of comes back this week, and what they do, controversial. I bet it might not be, but to me, it seems like it would be controversial. They changed some of the rules, and like Al Ewing's Immortal Hulk run, he tends to get really complicated at some point. Like Immortal Hulk was like really good, and then about 3/4 of the way through, it started getting really complex, and like he started like doing some really crazy sci-fi stuff. He's started out on issue 5 of this already, and I wouldn't say it's complex or complicated, but you can see it going that way. And he rewrites some rules that I don't think need rewritten, and he took something that had been set up in Kate's run that I think was really cool, and he's almost take the shine off of it. So it's something that could get better down the line. I could appreciate more, but right now I just didn't really like the direction they've taken something that was set up. I feel like it makes the ending of Donny Cates' run not as exciting
Okay.
or big for the character.
Right, right.
So it was kind of surprising to me that this was a bottom pick, but it just never sat with me. And that's all I was like. I would spoil much else if I said anything else, but yeah, it didn't really get me the way I was hoping, and particularly the way it started. It's not going the way I wish it kind of was going.
Yeah.
So my second pick is not my. So it wasn't my worst pick of the week, but it won't be surprising it's this low. But it's Amazing Spider-Man.
See, I was almost going to ask you if there was no Spider-Man book this week because Venom was your bottom pick, but
No,
look at you.
this was better.
Is this character growth?
So the thing with this, right? I want to clarify quickly for anyone watching. There's been incorrect reports that I haven't done any Spider-Man rants. I've done plenty in all these videos. If you look back, you can watch all my rants. If you want my biggest rant, if you want my most recent rant that says everything you need to know about how I feel about this book right now, go to Spotify and listen to our Coffee and Comics episode. First one. It's got the entire rant. It's crazy. Dan was a changed person afterwards. Go listen to that if you want my true, honest thoughts on it.
I can confirm that.
I go really on one, okay? But yeah, this was a bit better because it seems to be coming to an end now. So they're like kind of pulling everything together. But the problem is, it's too late. It's been such an uneven run and such a tragic run that it just doesn't matter at this point. And even then, I read this issue and I was like, cool, we've got 2 issues left and it'll be done. But we don't. We have 4 issues. And this feels like almost like the second last issue. So I'm like, oh my God, they're dragging out the ending as well. So it's still a mess. And also, Patrick Gleason wrote this with Mark Bagley doing the art. And I'm like, okay, why didn't you get one of the other writers, the 7 writers who have wrote this, to do this, and get Patrick Gleason that started the run doing the art of this issue? It doesn't really compute with me. Why have you taken the artist that started the run and given him the writing duties, and taken an artist who hasn't worked on the run this issue, when the run has had like 3 artists consistently do all the art? I mean, it didn't really fit with each other, but again, it's like a style change again that isn't needed. It doesn't make sense to me. You could say time constraints, but Patrick Gleason hasn't drawn an issue, I think since like the second issue of this. So that was like, I mean, that's saying it's like a month ago, because there's so many comes out weekly. But no, it was like, I can't even remember. It's probably about like 2-3 months ago now. But yeah, it's a mess. So my next issue is Hulk. This was a little better. I'm kind of feeling it a little more now. I still think this issue is more of like, my problem with this issue was more, it was just a bit of nothing. Like, it just feels like things were happening, but there wasn't much to it. It wasn't like much depth or anything. And it's kind of I thought it was kind of predictable at points. This whole like change in Hulk in a crazy way hasn't really hit me yet. I still feel like it's just the same Hulk story done before, but with a different theme. And it's still not it's clicked more on my buttons, but it's not clicking all my buttons. You know? I'm willing to give it a shot a bit longer, but yeah, I just don't get what he's going for with the book. I don't get what the idea is, what the point is, you know. Whereas like with something like Venom, I knew instantly what he was trying to do, you know. But on that topic of Donny Cates, another book this week that I picked up, Thor, right? And I have caught up on this. And this series was really losing me, because they recently did a reveal. God of Hammers, without spoiling, the God of Hammers arc is about a villain who is the God of Hammers. And it's pretty obvious who it is when you think about it, although you won't twig until you read it. But once if you read it, you'll be like, oh, it's so obvious who it is. It was not. I was close to like having Spider-Man level rants about this. That's how some of the God of Hammers, who it is and stuff, as much as I'm saying it makes sense, it was ludicrous. And I was close to having Spider-Man rants about it. When I was finishing the issue before this, I was like, uh-oh, this is bad. But this issue put in some reveals that kind of shows, maybe hold your tongue until you've read a bit more, because it had a couple of reveals that make the whole thing kind of fit a bit better, and I was a lot more comfortable with it. I'm still not 100% comfortable, almost like Hulk. The run started incredibly, and it's just slowly just trailed and trailed and trailed. I'm still waiting for this big, like there was a vision in issue 6. We're now in issue 22 and nothing's come of that yet, and it doesn't look like it's anywhere near coming. So I don't know. It's another case of Donny Cates dragging it out, but it's definitely the best run he's writing, but it's just a bit uneven still. But yeah, I'd still recommend reading it, because I don't think it's bad enough that I wouldn't yet. But it definitely recently has teetered on being like, again, Spider-Man level of poor, until, you know, Donny Cates clearly is a plan, but it's not quite saved it. But yeah, so it was okay. So the next two are actually like, we're competing for my pick of the weeks, and they won't be surprised. But one edged it. So the one that didn't quite make it, but is definitely like, the rest were all okay, but this was like good, was Blue and Gold. I'm aware this didn't come out this week. This is one that I found, but this was so good. It's so funny. And the thing is, compared to everything else, is like, everyone goes on about changing comics nowadays, but all these other series are all, and they're all Marvel. Yeah, they're all Marvel. They're all trying to change the game, trying to do stuff, but also at the same time, oh, disaster, they've all fallen. I don't know, like, they're all trying to change the game and stuff, but some of them are just outrageous in how they've like tried to change them. You know, like Spider-Man, it's not changed in a good way. Venom, I didn't like the developments in there. Hulk is like a reskin more than a change, and I'm not loving that. And Thor is definitely changed things as well, and I don't want to be one of those guys that's adverse to change. Like, you know, I quite like change. but done in the right way. It just feels that some of it feels a bit forced. I have a lot to say about the Thor particularly, but I'll keep that until further, and then keep an eye out on our Coffee and Comics. I'll definitely discuss that in more detail in one of those. But this did more of what you expect of Booster Gold and Blue Beetle, and I loved it. It didn't like break the wheel, but it just showed you why the wheel is so good. And this is just more of like their banter and their fun and them trying to be famous and try and make money. And it's just brilliant. You never get bored of it. And you know, the art by Ryan Sook is magnificent. And it filled a hole that I needed up until this point, because this is almost the way I read them all. And up to this point, when I read this, I was like, man, I'm satisfied for the first time this evening, you know? But this is a great series. And it's an issue 5 of 8, so it's coming to an end soon. And I hope they'll announce a sequel to it or something, because this can't be it. There has to be more after this. I really want Dan Jurgens to keep going. And finally, my pick of the week, and this will not be a surprise, and I kind of hinted to this last week. It's Power Rangers. This finished off. I think this finishes off Ryan Parrott's run on Power Rangers. I think he's continuing on Mighty Morphin. This was the final issue to Eltarian War. This was so good. There's so many emotional beats. There was some, like, one in particular, if you're a fan of Power Rangers, or if you've been reading the series from the beginning, it very much hits home. Like, it was very, like, it's something you've never seen the show do. And it was a very emotional scene that really, really hits home. You feel it a lot. Sets up some exciting things for the future without leaving it on crazy cliffhangers. It's a very satisfying ending. It's a cleanup episode. It does some really interesting things with some villains, though, that I wouldn't say it's not cliffhangers, but they do developments again that the show was never able to do because of the budget and the costumes. But this has changed the lore in such a huge way that I'm so excited to see what happens now. Because it is very much like open playing field now. They can do whatever they want. Because it's very different from when it started on this phase. But the emotional aspect is still there. Like, for people that don't like Power Rangers, this is still a good read because there's a lot of emotion to the book. You know, if you've been reading this since the first issue, you're gonna feel what happens in this issue. You know, it's not a good jumping on point, but if it says the Eltarian War, I wouldn't really think it would be a good jumping on point because that insinuates it's like an event or something. But if you've been following it or reading the trades or whatever, or the god-awful deluxe editions, which kind of been rectified because they're doing the Go-Go Power Rangers, but I still like mapping. They should have just put them all in one, like Ninja Turtles. But anyway, this will hit hard. It was a very good issue. And by far, like not by far, but that and Booster Blue and Gold were by far the best 2 issues I read this week. But Power Rangers, I hope it keeps this consistency because it's been winning for so long now that I hope it doesn't lose it with a new writer. But yeah, that was my cool list for this week.
Pretty good. Until I forgot about the Power Rangers issue until you said your pick of the week might be obvious. And then, I mean, I was right. But I think that's the first time in a little while now that it's actually been your pick of the week after all that talk about it usually getting that spot.
Yeah, because it was like a period of time where just things were edging out. Like, it was always really good.
Right.
But like, you know, when you're talking like Action Comics and stuff, what's going on in there in that? And then Superman, Son of Kal-El, like they were just edging it slightly because they were just a little bit more. It was just a little. The thing I think what this has been so good for a while now that it's not predictable in its awesomeness, but it's like it's so different that I'm like, this is going to be awesome. Whereas with DC books, because it's a big 2, when I read Action Comics or Superman, Son of Kal-El, as I said last week, Superman, Son of Kal-El felt like a Valiant book. That really surprised me, and that twigged in my head. And then I got like such a good read out of it. And then Action Comics got such a good read out of it. These books, I'm not used to being that good and being that different. So they edge it because of that, whereas I'm just used to this being awesome. So that maybe plays a part. And the thing is as well, that's another thing, like why I'm really enjoying DC right now compared to Marvel, if you're comparing the big 2, is because like I keep calling Booster, the Blue and Gold. that, as I say, that doesn't change anything. Like it just feels like more of the same, but it's good because it's funny and all that. But then in the same token, if you're reading like Action Comics, that's nothing like a Superman book right now. So like they're playing the field where they've got same stuff and new stuff, you know? Whereas like with Marvel right now, I feel like they're trying a lot of like new stuff per se, but it's not all landing. And I appreciate that they're, but it's sometimes for me, it feels like Marvel's throwing everything at a wall and hoping something sticks rather than them tactically actually going, maybe this change would benefit. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah.
And to really quick touch on the Action Comics thing, how you're saying like that's kind of edged out your books sometimes, your Power Rangers books. I saw the other night on Twitter, someone was asking like, "Oh, what's your favorite Superman run or book or whatever of the last 10 years?" And there was a lot of people saying that like the current War World arc has a potential stake at that claim, which I think is crazy, but also speaks to how good the book has been lately as well, which makes me even more excited to read all of it.
Yeah, every time I thought that run couldn't get better, it's gotten better. Like War World, I didn't think would. I was excited, but I thought, oh, I don't know if it'll live up to the hype. But yeah, like the way they've taken, you'll see when you read it, Dan. But the way that they've taken the story and how dark it is, really is taking me by surprise. And the thing is the darkness of the story helps the Superman angle of it shine out. So I hope it converts a lot of people into being Superman fans because it really does show why he's the way he is. You know, it's brilliant. But yeah, like honestly, yeah, in the last 10 years, Superman's been hard pressed to get a good run. He's a Pierre Judge Massey's running that. But yeah, definitely this would be up there. I could see why people would be debating that.
Okay. Well, now I suppose it's my turn. I also had a pretty light week. We've got some of the same books this week, which shouldn't surprise anybody. But first, I have a book from last week that I didn't pick up because I forgot about it. And then I went back into my shop the following day and saw it on the shelf. And I was like, oh, yeah, I think I wanted this book. So I had them put it in my box for when I came in today, which is a Scout Comics book called Cult of Icarus. It looks weird. And I guess it's about vampires or something because that's what this bitch on the cover looks like. I'm not gonna lie to you, I already forget what caught my eye about it because it's been like over a week. But I'm gonna read it and get back to you. Next, we've got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 126, I believe.
Of
Yeah,
course.
of course. And they've got these punk frogs, I think is what they're calling them. So there's like some sort of turf war going on with them and the turtles in Mutant Town. I'm still not caught up with the book, but I've been kind of trying to get back on track with that. And I'm excited. I know everyone keeps saying that the run isn't good anymore, and I believe them, but I'm still going to give it a shot. And I'm looking forward to it. Up next is a kind of random pick. I got it essentially from Ben. I feel like I didn't even know the book existed until he asked me if I was going to pick it up. And because it was a light week, I decided to grab it. Is Until My Knuckles Bleed from Behemoth. And I think it is a superhero book, even though the art's kind of weird. But like it's not a traditional like superhero book. But it looks pretty decent. I'll give it a shot. I don't know a whole hell of a lot about it. What I do want to comment on though is Behemoth, like far and away, has the best quality books like being printed every week, every month, whatever, however often they release books. I'm not picking up a ton of their stuff, but I'm pulling another series and it's the same quality. It's fucking awesome. It doesn't feel like it's gonna like fall apart in your hands. So I can't commend them for that enough. I feel like that's a reason alone to buy their shit. Up next, your bottom pick of the week. Bottom number 5.
Sorry, I didn't mean to put you off.
It's fine. It's fine. I'm still pretty excited to read it. I feel like I forgot what happened in 4, so I may have to refresh my memory a little bit. But I'm looking forward to it. I didn't know that Al Ewing was going to be back on this book. So that's different. But
I'm very curious to see your opinion on it. Like, I'm really curious to like discuss it. It's something I think we could discuss for a while.
right. I mean, I won't be surprised if I like it more than you. I do think that I'm a little bit less critical of certain things. But I mean, still, I think that makes for like an interesting discussion.
Yeah,
So when I do read it, I'll definitely get back to you.
yeah.
Another book that we know you haven't been loving is Hulk. Um, this one might actually be my cover of the week. I do like it a lot.
Mhm.
Um, I thought that I had a cover of the week decided, and it wasn't in my fucking shop today. So that's disappointing. And speaking of what wasn't in my shop today, I wanted to get Iron Fist, and my shop was sold out of it when I got there.
Oh, my shop didn't have that either.
Yeah, so that's a little disappointing. I did want to check it out, but I don't know if there's like some spec market bullshit going on for that book or what. A little bummed, but I guess it's one less book that I have to pull, so it's not the end of the world.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, so Venom, Hulk. I've been enjoying the run so far. We'll see from here. Uh, Last book, the one I'm most excited for, is from AWA Upshot, is Knighted, number 4 of 5. I've really been enjoying this series. I want to go back and read all the other stuff that's in this universe. That apparently JMS is the one that started it, I believe. I might have to double back and correct myself in the future on that one. But it's cool. I mean, I've discussed the premise before. This guy accidentally becomes responsible for the death of like a Batman. I don't even know what you want to call it, but he basically like accidentally kills his universe's Batman, who's actually kind of a piece of shit, and now he's like filling in as the new superhero. But he doesn't know what the other guy knew. He didn't know that he had deals with certain people. He didn't know how to react to other people. So he's kind of messing up things a little bit, making things worse for himself without even realizing it. And things are kind of coming to a head here. So I'm really curious to see where it goes. I've been enjoying the series a lot. I'm a little disappointed that it's only 5 issues, but I guess there's only so much story you can tell with something like this without it, growing tired. Um, but yeah, so that's all I got for this week. So, like I said, light week. I think we both, like said, we had 6 books or so. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, overall, not bad. I am looking forward to a lot of the stuff that I have
I
got
think
here.
next week's the big week.
Is it?
Is super heavy.
Oh yeah. Uh
Or no, super massive. Sorry, super
yeah,
massive.
yeah. You've been saying super heavy a lot, and I don't I hate to correct you, but
Yeah,
yeah,
super
super
massive.
massive. That is next week, isn't it? Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm
I
really excited.
really
I still
hope
have
there's
to
no
read.
delays.
Oh,
I
me too.
really hope there's no delays.
Yeah. I still have to read Radiant Black 12. I didn't get a chance to from last week. But
I
I
don't
mean, I feel
actually
like
know if you would need to.
I was just about to say, since it focuses on Radiant Pink, I probably wouldn't need to, but either way,
Yeah.
Supermassive is next week. So that's really exciting.
Yeah.
um, and I'm
Watch us
sure
come
that
here and shit on it.
I mean, hey, if so be it. But
Yeah.
who knows? I mean, they've got a lot of talent over there writing on that book.
Mhm.
So I mean, your Power Rangers boy is gonna take part in that also. So
I'm really curious to see how it's laid out, though, like how it actually works, because it's
with
got
the cross
numerous writers. Yeah,
right?
so I'm like, is it like some take certain pages, or did some like take certain story up parts of it, or like, you know what I mean? I'm curious to see how it works.
What if they did something like Kyle Higgins writes like Radiant Black, and then Ryan Parrott would write how Rogue Sun would respond to like that kind of situation or to that, whatever, and they kind of play off of each other a little
I think
bit.
that's how I would hope it was written,
Right. I mean, who
but I guess
knows?
we'll see. I guess we'll see.
Yeah. Right. Um, but yeah, so that is pretty exciting.
Hmm.
Um, that's all we got for this week. Is there anything
Yeah.
else you need to remind us about, or
No, I was gonna say, with the Supermassive coming out next week, we'll probably like show it off in our video, but I would look out for another Coffee and Comics where we'll probably break it down quite a bit more. Because we've been building that up and we're quite excited, so we'll probably have a lot to say about it. And then on top of that, we just posted recently another Coffee and Comics that was a special to do with Dark Crisis. So if you're curious about Dark Crisis or what hear our thoughts on it, you can listen to that.
Only on Spotify.
Only on exclusive. So yeah, I would definitely give that a listen to, because that was quite fun to do, and yeah, you'll get to see how excited we are for it.
Or how excited we're not. Find out. Tune in.
Dude, yeah. We might really not be excited for it, you know? We might be detesting it.
But yeah, so I mean, for the people in the back didn't hear me the first time, join our Facebook group, follow us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram. Spotify is getting brought up for the third time. We're on there. Check out our Coffee and Comics stuff that will only be found on Spotify. We're not going to post that stuff on YouTube. It's the only way to get to hear about it.
Check out the other videos on our channel.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, that's why we're here, you know? Yeah. So I think that's all we got. Let us know what you picked up. Let us know what you think we should have picked up. Let us know if we should I hunt down that Iron Fist issue that wasn't in my shop? Let me know. Tell me all these things. Tell Connor all these things. Tell the rest of the cupcakes all these things. And with that said, Connor, would you like to have any last words?
Thanks for watching.
Short and sweet. Love that.
You put me on the spot. I was like,
But yeah, so with that said, we're going to wrap this up, and we will see you guys next week. Peace.